Welcome to episode 49 of Oscar Sunday. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And today we are talking about BOYZ N the HOOD, 1991, and the 64th Academy Awards. That's where John Singleton's debut was up for Best Director and Best Screenplay. So what better way to talk about it than right here on this show? Connor, this is your first time with this film. I want to hear I want to hear your general thoughts, because I've seen it so many times now. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while, and it's a movie that I was just waiting for the right time on this show to kind of bring to you, and it's finally here.
Yeah, this is one that's been kind of just lingering on my ever-growing list for a long time, and I knew it was going to be good. So going in, I wasn't, shocked when I was like, yeah, this is good. And it is a very powerful film. I think I put in my review that it kind of captures this experience and helps me kind of understand this experience better than I think any film in this subgenre that I've seen so far. And I was very surprised at Cuba Gooding Jr. and Ice Cube, who I like them both, but I didn't know they had this in them. I was very shocked, holy shit, these guys can act. And I'm very happy that you made me watch this, as well as all the other big films that I knocked off my list this week because of this episode. So
I actually want to go ahead and just tell the listeners, the homework we kind of both did for this show. BOYZ N the HOOD, just classic. And we'll talk a lot about it. We're going to give awards out to that movie. But we're definitely going to dig into the 64th Academy Awards, because we hadn't seen some of these, the other films that are nominated. JFK, Bugsy, Thelma and Louise. Then you look over at the screenplay group and you add Fisher King and Grand Canyon. We watched all of these movies within the past week. Including BOYZ N the HOOD for you for the first time, and I rewatched it, and I had just an absolute, kind of mind-blowing experience this time watching it. I mean, that's how many movies is that? That's one, two. You watched Fisher King for the first time, correct?
Yes.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe that's 5 for you.
6 for me.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't normally crunch in that many movies for 1 week. When we do the Best Picture showdowns, we watch usually 5, right? And then for this we watched, for you it was 6. Yeah, that's just kind of mind-boggling. And it was a lot of fun though. A lot of fun. Great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to go back to 1991 for literally the entire week. And of course, next week is episode 50. We can't wait to do that. But this is a lot of legwork, and I'm kind of glad we did it.
Yeah, we were able to, craft a really neat show, talk about both of these categories in depth, because we did the work. And, it helps you understand the Oscars of that year. What was the competition? What were these films trying to say? Why were they here? And now I understand a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And, choosing BOYZ N the HOOD, and of course, you look at director and screenplay, think about John Singleton. Absolute legend. He's got some awesome movies, and I want to talk about his entire filmography before we do anything else. He passed away just about 2 years ago now. Little over 2 years ago. He was just 51. Definitely left with the show Snowfall on FX. That's kind of the last thing that he left his print, his imprint on the entertainment industry. And really for almost 30 years straight, was just kind of a part of the conversation, a part of culture and part of the movie conversation. And Boys in the Hood is the start of that. It's his debut. And it's just kind of bonkers, but I really do. It's the only nominations he got throughout his whole career, right? Is the director and screenplay for Boys in the Hood. But I do, I want to go through his stuff. This guy to me is underrated in a sense of the Academy, and I want to talk about some of his movies and see which ones that you have seen and which ones maybe we both need to do some homework on. You got, of course, Boys in the Hood. We'll talk about a ton. Poetic Justice. Have you been able to see this one?
I'll cut you off right there. Regrettably, I looked at his career. Boys in the Hood is it.
Boys in the Hood is it. All right. Well, fair enough. We'll make this brief. I think Poetic Justice is awesome. Tupac, Janet Jackson, Regina King is fucking amazing in it. Yeah, you'd really dig that one. I think Higher Learning. That one's a tough one. Regina King is in that one again. Michael Rappaport, Omar Epps. Yeah, that one's tough. Deals with some real, of course, Boys in the Hood deals with some heavy stuff. Poetic Justice does too, but Higher Learning goes to a really extreme level, and really makes you tick. And that one is one I've only seen once, and I'd love to rewatch. Rosewood, I have not seen that one. Shaft, you haven't seen Shaft?
I haven't seen any of the Shafts.
Man,
I don't know I don't know why. The original one's been hard to get a hold of, and I'm not watching the rest of them until I watch that one. So
yeah, damn. Well, you're gonna love it. Baby Boy is actually I own that one along with Boys in the Hood. It's a double feature. It's like a John Singleton double feature. Wait, you haven't seen Too Fast, Too Furious?
2 and 3 are the only ones in that franchise I haven't seen. So
that's crazy. They're like the only ones that Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift. Those are the ones I remember the most. Four Brothers. I'm also shocked you haven't seen that one. Come on, Marky Mark. Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's not so much. Rosewood again. I haven't seen. Baby Boy. The fact that Too Fast, Too Furious is within that franchise—that's the one that's really surprising. Oh man. 30 for 30 about Marion Jones. 30 for 30 has gotten a ton of attention, right? With different stuff, different awards, and a bunch of cool directors have been a part of that kind of documentary project. And Singleton being one of them is really cool. Abduction. It's been a while since I've seen this one, but I don't remember liking it too much.
It feels very much like a paycheck gig, looking at the rest of this stuff and then looking at a Taylor Lautner action film. I'm like, I don't think his heart was in this.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think everybody's at on that one. Is definitely the weakest of the bunch. It's pretty easy to say. And there's some TV work on Empire, American Crime Story, Rebel, Billions, and of course Snowfall. So he kind of moves his way into TV and kind of dominates throughout it, and then he passes away. Really, really interesting career. And definitely of the 90s, definitely one of the guys you just point to who these movies have a significant impact on culture. People still, are wearing, Poetic Justice t-shirts everywhere, and Boys in the Hood. And you have, of course, Kendrick Lamar has the song Poetic Justice. Is just this stuff just doesn't ever die, and a lot of it is because of, how good his movies are, or, they kind of lasted. I would say they've aged really well, all of these. And that's why you still see it kind of involved in people's lives all over the place.
Yeah, that's great. I get it. I would like to, I'm definitely not, turning myself off of John Singleton. I will definitely pursue his films. Some of them anyway.
Yeah, I definitely think, the early stuff, the Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, that kind of bang, bang, bang. I think you'll like those other two. And yeah, you got to see Four Brothers, man. That's just a kick-ass movie, So yeah, check them out, man. You'll enjoy them. They'll be entertaining. But Boys in the Hood's is best. I gotta say, I think it happens. It actually happens more than people think. When a director just kind of gets everything out there, all of his best ideas, all in that one first movie, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is kind of his masterpiece. And when you're watching it, you see it's a clear vision.
Yeah.
And that alone, even if he just had made that, would kind of make him a legend. You know, this movie, how just kind of honest and true it is. And I'm like, I feel kind of honored to talk about it. You know, it's really cool to be able to talk about this movie on Oscar Sunday. I think it is one of the key movies in the early 90s that just kind of changes the way Hollywood, you know, kind of thinks about, okay, this movie is very, very profitable and these stories need to be told. You know, they can be really good movies and they can be movies that are stories that need to be told, you know, and that's awesome. That's kick ass. It, you know, lets John Singleton have a career after that. And that's because the movie is good. You know, the cream rises to the crop. And I love that about this movie.
Well, it definitely reflects culture. And I like movies that reflect the time that it's made.
Yes.
Those are important historically. I've often talked about, you know, I'm studying to be a teacher right now. And when I do get my master's degree and I do get to teach college level courses, I want to teach American history through the lens of film. And when I get to the 90s, like this is a film I would use to showcase the 90s and as a significant part of American culture. And there's not a lot of films that can pull that off. Not a lot of films last like that, but this clearly does because John Singleton was honest and he knew exactly what kind of story he wanted to tell. And that sometimes is all you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Truly. You get that guy with all this stuff brewing in his mind, give him 2 hours to make this film with this cast. Yeah. It's no wonder it worked.
Oh yeah.
Fucking A, man. This cast is obviously just fucking awesome, right? it's all over the place. But there are some Oscar people in here.
Yeah.
I want to talk about them. Of course, my girl Regina King. We've brought her up many a times. We did a episode around If Beale Street Could Talk, and had an absolute blast talking about that movie. Barry Jenkins' follow up to Moonlight, just awesome film, and she's so damn good in it, right? And to see her in this, right? She's 20 when this came out. You know, she was born in 1971, so she's 20 and Boys in the Hood, and you're like, holy shit! Like, look, that's Regina. And now she opened up the Oscars, right? She opened up the 93rd Academy Awards with the walk up. That's who Steven Soderbergh is like, yeah, that's who we'll go with. And she's going to do this walk up while I follow her with the camera. It's really cool. And I love how she's been an important part of culture for 30 years and she has an Oscar win. So it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. She, you know, her directorial debut stormed the Oscars this time with One Night in Miami. Didn't win, regrettably, but still, it was there.
Hell yeah, it was there. You know, and what was now that time has passed? What do you think about its performance at the Oscars? And do you think it should have been up for more stuff? Right?
One Night in Miami. I think Regina should have been up for Best Director. I think that she deserved that nomination.
It's just tough to that group. The group is really hard.
It is a tough group. Other than that, I think, you know, Leslie Odom Jr. for supporting. I think it was up for screenplay and the song.
Mm-hmm.
That all fits for me.
That all makes sense. Yeah, I think all the performances were strong, you know, and it is hard to choose one for supporting and then who's the lead and whatnot. So it's just a tough movie, but a good watch. Really looking forward to what, of course, Regina does in the future, but she always has to be brought up when she can on Oscar Sunday because she's got that gold. Cuba, of course, you know, one of the best speeches of all time. When's the last time you watched that? Because I watch it on the internet, you know, quite frequently.
I haven't in a while. I've never seen Jerry Maguire. My typical ritual is I'll watch the movie and then I'll look up the, if there were speeches, I'll look them up and watch those while I'm doing my review.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen Cuba's speech, actually.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's breathtaking. Of course, that's his one win. He hasn't been nominated any other time, and he's getting played off, and he just refuses to get played off. He's just screaming, and it's a glorious moment. I don't even want to repeat what he says, because I want you to experience it after watching Jerry Maguire. Movie's okay, but the speech is A+. And one of the best ever. But where's the nomination here for Boys in the Hood?
That's a very good question.
Oh man. Just a breathtaking performance for the guy's first time to really be doing this. And Regina King as well. Just kind of mind-boggling that they just kind of have this life within them right away.
You forget that Cuba Gooding Jr. was, he's one of Hollywood's hottest rising stars in the 90s. And then an Oscar win for Jerry Maguire should have, made him a superstar. But he squandered that win and did a whole bunch of shitty comedies and then just kind of fell off the radar. And then he popped up again when he played OJ. But I don't think he's ever really recaptured that spark. And I don't think he ever will. I think, he's just one of those guys who missed the boat, regrettably.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think his career just took some turns, and sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's unfortunate, but he does have these diamonds from earlier in his career that we'll always hold on to. His mother is played by Angela Bassett, the fucking queen. Of course, she was nominated for What's Love Got to Do with It in 1993. Come on, this lady, she's like 60 or something, but looks like she's 30, and is unbelievable in Boys in the Hood. Right away, you kind of get settled in. You don't have much of a choice. Her and Lawrence Fishburne right away just kind of give you that. Okay, this is going to be a serious fucking movie with serious people saying serious things. And she just kind of does that no matter what. Even if she's in Black Panther, she has this tone that you just listen to every word she says. I love her. I wish there was more nominations for her, but maybe we'll do What's Love Got to Do with It someday.
I would love that. Finally give me an excuse to watch that movie.
Good stuff. Yeah, she's great. I really, want to just go ahead and bring up someone that I love in this movie who may not be an Oscar guy, but in this movie, I think it's kind of worth that, is Ice Cube. I also know you're a huge fan of his music and you've gotten to see him live.
Yeah.
The dude is pretty damn good at his job as an entertainer. To the ability to have, of course, the amazing stuff with NWA, his own stuff, to these movies, being in Boys in the Hood and Friday, and then of course, when we're teenagers, he's like hilarious in 21 and 22 Jump Street, and one of the best parts of those movies, and kind of just grabs hold of like each generation, and I love him. I do want to hear about your experience seeing him though.
Ice Cube was the last concert I saw before the world ended. It was like 2 weeks before lockdown went in effect. South by Southwest had already been canceled. And everyone was like, is Ice Cube even going to show up to this thing? And it was at the amphitheater at Nutty Brown. And it's an outdoor venue. It was cold as fuck. It was like beginning of March. And the show started at 7. Ice Cube didn't show up till 10. And we were all like listening to shitty Houston rappers, like, come on. And my family wanted to leave. And I'm like, I'm not going fucking anywhere until I see Ice Cube or someone telling me he's not here. And eventually I got my way. And then he came on and he opened with Natural Born Killers. And I was like, this is why I stood in the cold for 3.5 hours. Wait, this is why. And he played like a whole bunch of, NWA stuff, just his parts though, which I thought was really cool.
Hell
A
yeah.
lot of solo stuff, a lot off his new album, which kicked ass. And he did a whole nobody was really taking COVID seriously yet. We were all kind of like, it's just a flu, nothing's gonna change. And Ice Cube is one of those people who's like, man, fuck the coronavirus, y'all are here. And we're like, fuck yeah, we're here. And then like 2 weeks later, everyone was like, okay, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ice Cube was my
that.
last bit of normalcy before everything went to shit.
That's incredible. I love it. Yeah. The last movie we saw together was Tommy Boy. Yeah. Perfect. Last cast member here that needs to be brought up. That is an Oscar nominated gentleman. It's Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh yeah.
Also, what's love got to do with it? But how is that it?
Oh, dude, Larry Fish, one of my favorite character actors. I every time he pops up on screen, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking enjoy this. The guy is a fucking tractor beam for talent, and I just don't get it. Like the one nomination, I can't wait to see him play Ike Turner. I've heard it's a scary performance. And,
yeah.
But yeah, he should have been up for a lot more. I've always been a fan of his.
Yeah, the greatest compliment I can give Lawrence Fishburne is he makes me totally fine with watching all of the movie 21.
Oh, that's nice.
That's Fishburne. That's what he's capable of. Able to lift any movie up, like you said, when he pops up. Oh hell yeah! Here we go. Fucking, of course you're thinking of films like The Matrix, of course, that just have this massive influence on you as a young kid, and then you get older and you see all these other films, and of course BOYZ N THE HOOD has got to be one of those roles where you're just kind of blown away by his talent.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's, from the beginning, you get the vibe that like, okay, he's kind of there to like, I don't know if like in 91, was he considered like a bankable star?
No.
Damn. You forget that there were times where these actors weren't, sure things.
Like so many of these people, Cuba, Regina, Neil Long, they were kind of like, they were all risks,
Yeah.
First timer kind of people, and it just totally worked out.
Amazing to me. But yeah, he's a guy who's he's fantastic in this. You totally buy him as a single dad doing his best. And I'm glad that he didn't end up being like, at first you think the way he talks to his kid on the lawn, you're like, oh shit, he's gonna beat him. But no, he's teaching his kid, personal responsibility, and he's a great father. And yeah, I love that. I love great fathers in film. That's a surefire way to get me to pay attention.
Yeah. Totally agree. He has a cool run through the 80s. I would say it starts with Apocalypse Now, 1979, appearing in that, being a part of that. And then has this, kind of interesting run where, of course he's in School Days, Spike Lee. He's in King of New York in 1990. He's in The Color Purple, of course. He's doing all these different things, but then just, I would say Morpheus takes him to this different fucking plane. Morpheus, Furious, whatever you want, man. He's just the fucking man.
Well, I think after The Matrix, I think he stopped getting a lot of leading roles. He kind of became like the supporting kind of, teacher role. He kind of got typecast, which sucks, but also, he killed it in every one of those roles. I mean, remember Predators, where he's the crazy guy living in the ship?
Dude. Yeah, he's kind of just perfect for that over and over. Even in movies, like you said, that are seemingly paycheck gigs, he's just having fun.
I loved him on Hannibal as Jack Crawford. Like I thought that was fantastic that he was there. And just, yeah, John Wick 2, seeing him pop up with Keanu again as the fucking Bowery King. I was like, yeah, this guy would run half of New York City.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, love Fishburne to death.
Yeah, he's a legend. The guy, he's 60 years old now, about to be 60. And yeah, he's just kind of put together a really cool career. And I'm glad he's got the Oscar nomination so we could bring him up. But I feel like he's going to get brought up again anyway, because he's very, very good in Boys in the Hood. And I'm sure he's a part of something with our awards. The 64th Academy Awards. Let's talk about all these movies we watched throughout the week. We could ramble a bit here. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. I would prefer to start with screenplay, if that's okay with you.
Why not?
And then do director. So again, I watched Grand Canyon for the first time, Bugsy for the first time, and Thelma and Louise for the first time. That's from this group. And then I rewatched Boys in the Hood and Fisher King. I didn't rewatch. I've seen it a million times. I own that one. It's so awesome.
I watched all 5 of these for the first time.
Beautiful. God, I love it. Well, let's start with Grand Canyon. Get this one out of the way because it is a goddamn nightmare.
Grand Canyon. The fact that Grand Canyon and Boys in the Hood are nominated at the same year in the same category is so fucking funny to me because Grand Canyon is basically like a white guy's version of Boys in the Hood. It's a white guy trying to do a racial movie, and this is what you get, where Kevin Kline's scared in a black neighborhood.
Oh man. When I started Grand Canyon, I had my doubts about it, but then it started out with highlights of a Lakers and Magic game at the Forum. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. They're in Inglewood at the actual Forum. There's Steve Martin and Kevin Kline going nuts. I was kind of like, all right, I'm paying attention here. And then it took, maybe 10 more minutes for me to just, oh, this is what I'm watching. Okay. Settle in, I guess, because this is going to get bumpy. And boy, oh boy, there's some performing here that's okay. But screenplay of all, this is the only nomination it gets at the 64th Academy Awards. And screenplay is the one you give it. This is not, humans don't talk this way. Humans do not. The only scene that I'm going to think about from this movie is when Kevin Kline and his son, Roberto, are driving in the LA traffic. That was the only real conversation that happened the entire time. And I felt bad for Danny Glover. He was given just these shit lines that are just very, very redundant. I felt bad for the cast in a way. This movie is rough.
How does this score a best original screenplay nomination the same year that Barton Fink comes out? Yeah.
It's hard to even get into, any of these 90s years, you can just look down the line, right? And there's movies that definitely should be here. And then you watch Grand Canyon, Lawrence Kasdan. Just what's going on here?
Well, I knew that this when Kevin Kline's driving through the bad neighborhood and he's like, looking around like, oh no, I'm in the black part of town. Oh boy,
yeah, and trash.
Then he gets attacked by threatened by the gang who are all like just aggressively.
Oh my god,
Compton, like 90s white guy version of black. Where I'll just eyeing him, and then Danny Glover shows up like fucking John Henry, like to save the day, and I'm like, what is this? And then Kevin Kline's like, I gotta repay this kind black man. I better fix him up with the only other black person I know. And I'm supposed to think like he's the hero of this movie. Like it's fucking, it's Get Out racism again. It's Bradley Whitford's I would have voted for Obama a third time racism again.
It's so similar to Crash that it hurts. Like, the fact that it deals with these people in fucking California, in Los Angeles, and kind of intertwined and this bullshit. God.
I think in my review I called it a diet magnolia.
Yeah, no kidding, right? No kidding. Magnolia is just through and through sticks to its weird, to where you're kind of okay, yeah. This is trying to fucking preach to you or something.
But it preaches all the wrong messages. Like the only message I really get here is you should really be afraid of minorities. Because we see Steve Martin get shot by a vaguely Hispanic.
Oh my God, that storyline was just
it isn't even a storyline. He gets shot, he gets surgery, and then he walks with a limp. There's no part of that. You take that out, and nothing changes.
Yeah, Steve Martin doesn't need to be there. And then the whole thing about how he hates violence, and then he's like, "Oh, I was out of my mind." Just what was the point? And Mary Louise Parker. I felt horrible for her. What are we giving her? What lines are we giving this girl? Terrible. I would just don't it's on HBO Max, but don't go near it unless you really like Danny Glover or Alfred Woodard or Kevin Kline. I don't know. It's not worth your time.
The whole affair subplot, no reason for that. Like, did he ever even tell his wife? I don't remember. Like, I don't think he did.
No, they didn't. No, you're right. That never got brought up.
Because their point of contention was that she just found a fucking baby and is like, I'm gonna take this. Like, this is my baby now. And he's like, are you crazy? And she's like, no, I'm sad that my oldest is going to camp. Like, what is this movie? Like, is this a race movie? Is this a family drama? Is this about Steve Martin and his leg? Like, what are we watching here? And why should I give a shit? I mean, I thought, Lawrence Kasdan wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, what happened?
Yeah. Not everybody's supposed to write movies that are like about life,
I think, not everybody needs to have like their race movie. Like, everyone in Hollywood wants to make their mark by trying to be the one who solves racism, and it just always comes off as insincere.
It definitely is. Oh yeah, glad we could get that one out of the way, because it will. it does not show up again for Best Director, thank God. Let's talk a bit about Fisher King.
Okay,
that was your first time watching it, huh?
Yeah, and I had no idea this was a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yeah, and you can tell like right away as Jeff Bridges is drunk and walking through, and
this is Terry Gilliam's modern day King Arthur, and it's touching as hell because Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams are both so damn likable. I mean, Jeff Bridges can play an asshole shock jock, and I still want this guy to win. He's incredible. Just got this charm about him. Like, I don't want to see him lose, and the whole being the kind of like the reason that someone goes crazy and shoots up a restaurant, like you could feel the guilt just like falling off that guy. Like, Bridges did such a great job. And I feel like he kind of got a little overshadowed by Robin Williams, but so does everybody. He's Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You can't match that energy.
No. And Robin Williams on a run of, Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poet Society. This is a year before Aladdin. Good God.
Fuck. Same year as Hook. Love
Hook. Yeah. Hook's awesome. Yeah. Robin Williams is the master at this time. And he's up for Best Actor against Anthony Hopkins.
Good luck.
Warren Beatty, Robert De Niro, and Nick Nolte. Pretty decent group.
Yeah.
Tough one there. And I agree with you. Jeff Bridges is fantastic in this movie. It's written by, I don't know how to say the gentleman's name, Richard Grevenese? I don't know. This combination, this story obviously is really cool, but the combination with Terry, who would be an interesting guy to have a director nomination here.
Yeah.
He's super, super fascinating. A guy that we've kind of gotten to explore a bit on this show. We both got to explore Brazil and talk about that one when we did Back to the Future. And now this, it's fun when you can string this stuff together and kind of explore a guy organically just throughout time.
It is.
You kind of spend months apart, and then you're back kind of in his in his hands again. And Fisher King's awesome.
Well, it's so cool to see Gilliam kind of create his own fairy tale in a way. Like, this is a really, you know, it's a movie about redemption and second chances and forgiveness. And you add that with Gilliam's flair of the bizarre, and you get this weird kind of self-contained film that I feel hasn't really escaped the 90s, but deserves to. I think, you know, it's, for me, it's up there with Brazil and, you know, Gilliam's like kind of pantheon for me. And I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I was finally able to watch this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. It'd be a fun one to do on the show. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Here we are with Barry Levinson. Barry Levinson's Bugsy.
Yes.
A straight up gangster biopic about Bugsy Siegel. Warren Beatty, like I said, was nominated for playing Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, and is great in this movie. And the screenplay, written by James Toback, is quite fascinating. I think there's I'll let you speak because I think you liked it a bit more than me. I think there's a tad lack of vision on where to go exactly with the film here. And maybe that's part of the screenplay's fault. Maybe that's just Barry Levinson's kind of style. I don't know.
There's some truth to that. I think Bugsy's kind of, he's like the real guy, Benjamin Siegel, was, you know, he had a big dream, but he never really got to see it accomplished. Like, his part in this story is brief. So I feel like there just wasn't a lot of places to go with his story. They took an angle and they ran with it. And I think for what they did make, it was good. But, you know, the creation of Las Vegas is not all Benjamin Siegel. He kind of just laid the first brick. And I think a larger, like, the story of, you know, the creation of Vegas is kind of worthy of like its own series. I mean, that's a long ongoing story of the mob and corruption and Frank Sinatra and all kinds of crazy shit. But Bugsy's story is, you know, a man who made big promises and could not deliver. And I'm probably biased because I fucking love gangster biopics. That's, you know, one of my favorite subgenres. I'm a sucker for that stuff. So I've come to really like Warren Beatty as an actor after watching Reds. So I was kind of sucked in pretty fast on Bugsy.
Yeah. No, I knew there was gonna be kind of a difference there because, like you said, it's one of your favorite things. And Warren Beatty is very good and kind of has this way, but then there's all these different people popping up over and over.
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley and Harvey Keitel were both nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I really liked Annette Bening in it. Thought she was great. It's something I would rewatch again. That's for sure. I'd give it another chance. But for now, it's a 7 for me for now.
Fair enough. It's an 8 for me. I didn't know Harvey Keitel was playing Mickey Cohen. So that again is like, oh shit, I know this whole story. I'm going to like this. So
yeah,
this was very much like tailor-made for true crime fanatics and, like, you know, classic gangster aficionados like myself.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think both our scores on Fisher King, 8 for you?
Yes.
Same. And then Grand Canyon, what do you got?
6.
Yeah, 5. Just right down mediocre street. Let's talk a bit about the screenplay of BOYZ N THE HOOD, written by John Singleton. I mean, what the fuck? Yeah, this one obviously, to me, deserves the nomination more than anybody, and probably should have won the Oscar for Best Screenplay. The shit that Furious says is fucking insane. I don't want to step on any toes of the Tarantino Award, but there's some lines. Any fool with a dick can make a baby, but only a real man can raise his children. You know, there's these quick things that are said throughout this movie that are just fucking unbelievable. Like, and just it's like when you first hear a curse word, there's lines in this movie, there's sentences in this movie that make your eyes pop like that. Just damn, like someone wrote this shit down, and it's fascinating.
You can tell this is shit that John Singleton probably heard from his own father. Like, this is, you know, there's a lot of himself and a lot of heart in this story. Like, this came from somewhere real. And I don't think all the rest of these films can kind of boast that. I do think this deserved the win.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear, right? It's one of those straight up diamonds, like American diamonds. A screenplay that just probably no one else could have written.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
And his age, he's born in 1968. Come on, right? The guy's like early 30s, and you just can't pass that kind of shit up. And the Oscars, they do that. The Academy, they do that far too often, where they, oh well, maybe they got to put a little more work in. Just reward them when it's the best. You know, we saw it with Scorsese. They waited forever to properly give him his due. Just give it to Goodfellas, you know. That kind of shit happens, and I think it happened with John Singleton in the screenplay. Just give it to him, man. It's the best one.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. The film that did win Best Original Screenplay is Thelma and Louise, another film that's kind of become synonymous with kind of like American cinema. It's a film I think I knew a lot about going in. You know, we all kind of know that iconic ending and the reasons behind the initial road trip. Was this your first time with Thelma and Louise?
Yeah, it was. I had seen bits of it, but this was my first time to watch it all the way through.
What'd you think?
I loved it. I had a blast. It very, very much men are shit. And hell yeah, I like movies that stick to their guns. And this movie is written by Kelly Currie. She's from San Antonio. You gotta love that. You gotta love that action. This is a movie that I think is kind of like a bit of a diamond as well. Not as strong as BOYZ N THE HOOD, but there's some awesome stuff in here. And the heart of it, of course, is the two performances, right? So, Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon, as of course Thelma and Louise. They carry the film in a way that I'm sure if I would have seen this when I was younger, would have kind of changed the way I watched movies. I wish I would have been exposed to it at a younger age. I really do. I think it would have been a cool movie for me to see and just kind of carry with me, you know? These women fucking rule. And I love when they just fucking blow up that truck. How cool is that shit? And then you're like, oh yeah, we're watching a fucking Ridley Scott movie. Yeah. Makes sense. I had a blast. I had an absolute blast. I'm definitely going to buy it. Really liked it.
It's quite a fun movie. It's not often you see Harvey Keitel as the voice of reason.
Yeah. Good old Harvey. What a year. What a time to be Harvey Keitel. Right after, of course, he's in Reservoir Dogs in 1992. So I would have been obsessed with this guy during this time.
Oh yeah. I thought it was really I don't see Christopher McDonald that often, Shooter McGavin.
Oh my God, dude.
Does anybody play
unbelievable?
Does anybody play a dick as well as he does? Like, oh my God.
Jesus. Thelma, you get your ass home. He was bonkers when he's bossing the people around when he's leaving for work. I loved it because he can't escape, in my mind, and I'm sure you feel the same way. He can't escape Shooter. He can't escape Shooter McGavin. So I constantly just, my right arm's a little shorter than the left,
Oh my God.
So good.
My favorite moment was when Thelma called him and he's like, "Oh, hi, Thelma. You doing all right?" She immediately hangs up on him. Like, yeah, he knows the cops are there.
Yeah.
Would never talk to me like that.
I just said hi. Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed with this. Best screenplay. I don't know about that. I thought that it was good. It's a pretty unforgiving movie.
Yeah.
But I get it. These women got just tired of it, and they fucked some shit up, and that was nice.
Yeah, definitely was nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the win should have gone to Boys in the Hood. I think that's the film that, has the biggest legacy here and the film that has the best screenplay.
Yeah, no doubt. Cool win for Kelly Curry. But yeah, it's got to go to Singleton. And you give Thelma and Louise, what was your rating for that one?
That was an 8.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, I didn't really have a difficult time choosing who I think would win that group. It feels very clear, but I do want us, just for the hell of it, because I like to do this, it's very obvious that Grand Canyon's last. What's second, third, and fourth for you?
So yeah, fifth is Grand Canyon. Fourth is Bugsy.
Same.
Third is Thelma and Louise.
Same.
Second's The Fisher King versus Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, that's got to be it for me as well. Yeah. I like that. I think it's pretty just kind of easy to kind of make kind of tiers out of that. And the difference in how much I appreciate the screenplay for Boys in the Hood and Grand Canyon is chasms, fucking chasms.
I just can't. Barton Fink, I can't believe it. Like, one of the tightest Coen Brothers scripts of all time, not a fucking nothing.
Yeah.
This horse shit that I never heard of until you pointed it out. Yeah, no, why is this here? The poster looks like a fucking soap opera. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, truly. Garbage. Well, we're done with it. We don't really ever have to talk about Grand Canyon ever again. Isn't that great?
It feels good.
And except for when I actually go to the Grand Canyon then I'll be like, oh yeah, that shit movie that's called Grand Canyon. And I won't be able to properly enjoy this great thing that's a part of our country. Stupid.
I've been there once.
Me too. It was very cool, but if I go now, I feel like I'm going to think about the movie at least a little bit.
The movie shouldn't even been called Grand Canyon. It was like they used Grand Canyon as some sort of metaphor for like your life's decisions, but it never worked.
No. Yeah. Danny Glover was just obsessed with the Grand Canyon. Just obsessed the whole movie.
They all kept bringing it up in some capacity. And at the end, they take this like 9-hour road trip to, yeah. Such an insincere movie.
Yeah. No, thanks. Well, what's good now is we'll move to the best director group, and all 5 of these are awesome. Of course, we're talking about 3 of the movies we just talked about, but we're adding 2 more.
Yes.
And we're adding fucking Oliver Stone's JFK, and we're also adding Jonathan Demme's Silence of the Lambs, the winner. Holy shit.
This is this is an impressive group of directors.
Yeah, crazy group. Well, let's just start from the bottom. Just go over them properly, because this is you can kind of get scatterbrained when you have titans like this. Ridley Scott, Thelma and Louise. We just talked about it.
Yeah,
the guy, never see. He's always amazing me, over and over. In these all kinds of surprising ways too. I never give him credit, the right kind of credit. I never do. And what a silly mistake. I think this movie is one that kind of has pushed him over that line for me, where I will remember his name more in conversations. Of course, 1979, Alien is a very important movie to both of us. And when you have this kind of range, this kind of different stuff you can work with, I'm gonna like you. I'm gonna like you when you can kind of blow me away in these different kinds of ways, especially the range of Thelma and Louise and Alien.
Ridley Scott's one of the most versatile filmmakers in movie history. That guy's range is unbelievable. Alien, of course, is the big one, but he won. I think he won. No, he didn't win. Soderbergh beat him for Gladiator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Gladiator still, like, that was the film where I was like, okay, this guy's not just a horror director. Not that that's a bad thing, Caleb and Josh. This guy's somebody who can do anything. And he's continued to prove that with, like The Martian, and then going back to Alien. going, the guy is a rock star and he's been doing consistently great work since the 70s. And
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic. I'm so excited that he's going to be part of the Alien show that they're developing on FX. Like Alien was always his, partially his vision from the beginning, and I'm glad they're going back to that. But Thelma and Louise, I didn't know this was a Ridley Scott film until the credits rolled, and I'm like, oh shit, Ridley. And yeah, it's a film done by a talented eye, you can tell.
Yeah. That's his first ever nomination at the Oscars. Then he was nominated for Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, and The Martian. So yeah, the dude is going to be brought up on this show just here and there, and that always gets me excited because he's awesome. This next film, oh boy, I really want to do an episode on this movie. On Oscar Sunday, of course, we could do it. I think it would be a fascinating Filmgazm episode where we could just go into conspiracy theories, because Oliver Stone's JFK is a total mind fuck. A 3-hour jaunt that you really have to just buckle up for and be ready for. You really have to be in the right mood to watch this movie that just has this pace for people who are obsessed with movies and obsessed with storytelling. And Oliver Stone, of course, is a guy who wants to go back to history, to look at history, see what's going on, and entertain you with it. And I'm all in on JFK. I thought it was awesome. This was my first time seeing it. I had seen glimpses here and there, but when you sit down and watch this front to back, it is a whole experience.
JFK is a film that has been kind of waiting for me.
Yeah.
Such a
oh my God.
It's, I've always been a student of history, especially like the Office of the President was the first thing that I became obsessed with historically when I was a kid. And I knew this movie was going to knock my fucking socks off. And I was right. This is Oliver Stone's masterpiece. This
straight up
is so brilliant in its execution. And it teaches you so much about the inconsistencies surrounding the Kennedy assassination and just how far the government was willing to go to cover up things that in a normal society do not need to be covered up. There's no reason to cover this shit up unless you're hiding something. And I was blown away by the cast. I mean, I feel like everybody in the kitchen sink is in this movie. Just, from Tommy Lee Jones to Gary Oldman to John Candy, like Joe Pesci. I mean, holy shit. And everyone is amazing. Everyone is playing outside their comfort zone. Tommy Lee Jones is playing a closeted gay man. Are you kidding me? And even Costner, who I don't usually like, I fucking loved him in this. Like, yeah, JFK, I was glued to the screen. I am never glued for a 3.5 hour movie, but I was like, I didn't pause. I was like, this is amazing. I couldn't stop. It was wonderful. Absolutely fantastic film. I recommend everybody check this out. It's going to really, at the very least, make you think twice about what happened on November 22nd, 1963. Yeah. I think Gary Oldman should have been up for Best Supporting. I think this is one of his best performances. I mean, he fell into Lee Harvey Oswald, like putting on an old sweater. Like, it was just felt natural to him. It was so weird.
Oh, yeah. I agree with everything you said. If we go into it, it really could, it could take over this whole episode. It is that good of a movie. It has that much going for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have no idea who I'd pick for the awards, who for the PSH and whatnot. And there's just so much happening. I would need to rewatch it and just trying to gather my thoughts, because that is a movie that, yeah, I feel like next time I watch it, I need a 6-pack of beer or something. It is crazy. It's such a ride.
Yeah.
Oliver Stone, I'm with you as far as what I've seen. It's my favorite of his work for sure. When it comes to the Oscars, the man, of course, writes and directs. He won the Oscar for Best Screenplay for Midnight Express, 1978. He was nominated for Best Screenplay for Salvador, and was also nominated for Platoon, 1986. Won Best Director for Platoon, 1986. He was nominated for Best Screenplay again for Born on the 4th of July. That was also up for Best Picture. He's a producer on that film, and he was nominated for Best Director. And then we have, of course, JFK, where he's nominated for Best Screenplay, Best Director. And then Nixon, 1995, nominated for Best Screenplay again. So yeah, this guy's resume when it comes to just the Oscars is impressive. And then he's got all kinds of shit that you could just kind of live in Oliver Stone's world for a long, long time.
Yeah, but you're gonna emerge a little fucking nuts. He's
a
fairly unstable gentleman, but his films, at least in the 80s and 90s, were masterpieces. Cool thing about JFK, like, well, there's a lot of cool things, but I think the coolest thing is it actually led to legitimate legislation. The movie led to the creation of the Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992, which was passed by Congress. It established a collection of records of the JFK assassination, some of which are available to the public. Others will not be released until like 2038. So there was clearly some kind of cover up here. Everyone who was involved in it is probably dead by now. But wouldn't it be amazing to one day find out that all of this is true?
Yeah. I mean, the way it's put together is why it won Best Film Editing, the Oscars. That's why it won Best Cinematography. The way this movie chops it up makes it work to where you're, oh my gosh, this all kind of adds up.
I'll say it right here. I believed it before this movie, but I fact checked this shit, and a lot of this stuff is true. I firmly believe the CIA killed President Kennedy. Like, firmly. Like, that happened. Just motive, opportunity, cover up. It all makes sense. I'm not one for conspiracy theories in general, but that one's hard to ignore.
Yeah. Whew, man, what a film. Definitely the ones that we watched for this week. It was the one that I feel like will come back up again for an episode here or somewhere. Because yeah, it is something else. I give this movie a 9. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, same here. 9. It could go up. This is a film I will watch again, and I will, immerse myself in again. It's like, it's beautiful. It's a work of art, and I hope it comes back on this show. I'm sure it will.
It will. Barry Levinson, Bugsy. This is the one we just talked about over in Screenplay. Also, James Toback. And here's Barry Levinson. I don't know. I don't know if this is a good enough vision for him to be here, but Levinson is definitely an interesting director, a guy worth looking at. And we talked about his son's film over on Sneak Preview, Malcolm and Marie, Mr. Sam Levinson. I'm sure Barry will come up one day on an episode here. He is the winner of one Oscar. Was this? Yeah, this is of course both our first time. You've seen Rain Man?
I have seen Rain Man, yes.
Okay, you've seen Rain Man. What about Diner? That's one I haven't seen.
I have seen Diner as well.
Okay, you like that?
I did not like Diner.
Yeah, I haven't heard great things. And Justice for All, I like that one.
Haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I think you'll dig that. And Avalon, 1990, Avalon. I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen Avalon either.
So we got some work to do, of course, and I figured we both kind of be in the same boat. We've seen some, haven't seen some. But he's not really impressing me here in Bugsy again with the vision. So yeah, I don't know.
Levinson's a guy, like, reading off those movies, I realized this just now. Like, he's a guy who's kind of been popular in my family for quite a while because my mom and my uncle love Diner because my mom and my uncle are obsessed with young Mickey Rourke. Yeah, Avalon is another film that they watched all the time that my mom is like hunting down. We got Rain Man. Like, Barry Levinson has been just kind of on the background of my family's movie like love for quite a while. I didn't realize that till just now.
Wag the Dog, yeah.
Haven't seen that one. I want to see that one.
The Natural, yeah.
But I do agree that I don't think he should have been nominated here. Two possible alternates I would have put in here: Martin Scorsese for Cape Fear, potentially,
Yeah.
or James Cameron for Terminator 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like those shouts. I like it a lot. Have you seen Good Morning Vietnam? You've seen that one?
Oh yeah,
that's probably the best one of these Levinson directed movies. Probably my favorite.
Yeah, and that's because Robin Williams is a fucking machine, and
Yeah, you're right. It was really mostly him. Now let me bring up a film that if has no business being on discussed on Oscar Sunday, but he directed Envy from 2004, that comedy with Jack Black, Ben Stiller, Christopher Walken. Vaporize.
Wow, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time.
well, let's think about it. It's amazing. I think Envy is one of those comedies from the 2000s that's gotten a bit lost and is just gets fucking shit on. I think it's really funny and really smart. And Christopher Walken, one of his most outlandish performances. And you forget that Rachel Weisz and Amy Poehler are playing the fucking wives here. So I love Envy. Really cool movie that just underrated.
I bought it on clearance at Half Price Books for like $2 a few months ago.
Yes.
On a whim. And yeah, it's on my shelf over there. I can see it right now. And
hell yeah.
I think I'll watch it. I had it on tape as a kid. And I remember thinking like, I like this. I remember walking as J-Man. I remember shooting the horse. Like I remember some scenes, but I don't remember the movie as a whole. So I think it's time to revisit that.
Yeah, definitely do that. Fucking J-Man. Awesome stuff. Yeah, that's our Barry Levinson bit. He's someone that I need to do some work on, but I do have some films I like. Bugsy, which wouldn't be one of my favorites, and I think it's not one that deserves to be here. I like your shot at James Cameron though, because he's a guy who, of course, isn't shy when it comes to the award stuff. But
Titanic,
he's got some great stuff.
Titanic, no, but T2, that movie is art. Terminator 2 is, oh my God, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Cameron absolutely is the driving force behind why that movie is so spectacular. So I would absolutely have given him a nomination.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. He's T2 is, like you said, a classic, a movie that got brought up on the 93rd Academy Awards. John Singleton. Yeah, what do you want? It's a pure vision. This is what the category's for. Best director, a guy who clearly made this environment somewhere where people were able to be super creative and hone in and make this awesome movie. And for that, he totally deserves to be here. This movie has lasted 30 years now, and it's just gotten better.
Well, with this nomination, John Singleton became the first Black director to be nominated for Best Director,
and youngest, at the time,
youngest at the time. I think Chazelle broke that one, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
But no one's breaking the first Black director thing. I mean, that would be crazy and impossible.
Yes, quite impossible.
Unless Spike Lee has a time machine, that's not happening.
No,
but. Yeah, I'm glad that they nominated him. You don't see that a lot for first-time filmmakers like this, writer-directors. Usually they'll give them one or the other. Rarely do they get both. And I'm glad he was here. Yeah,
definitely deserves it. And I think now we just got to bring up the winner to go ahead and see who we think should have won. Jonathan Demme. He's part of this historic night at the 64th Academy Awards, where just the third time ever where a film got the big 5 awards, swept up the best picture, swept up the best director, got best actor, got best actress, and got that screenplay. So it just, the only other films that have done that, it happened one night, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then for this fucking, precise, brilliant, creative, all the above, whatever adjectives and things you want to say about a movie, It's a horror movie, and it's right here, and it's right here, dominating this Academy Awards, beating all these movies, beating Prince of Tides, beating JFK, beating Bugsy, beating Beauty and the Beast for the win, Best Picture, and Hopkins and Foster. Just awesome stuff. And Demi's a part of that. He's a part of history forever as one of the most historic nights in Academy history. Do you think he deserved to win?
Well, after watching all of these films, I do have to say that 100% he fucking deserved this Oscar. Jonathan Demme's work on The Silence of the Lambs is one of the most deserved directing Oscars in history. This movie is a absolute masterpiece, deserved all of the awards it got, and has gone down as one of horror's greatest heroes. I will never get tired of Silence of the Lambs. It's one of my favorite movies. It's the only 10 here. And Demme deserved this, and I'm glad that it won. I think considering the way the Oscars likes to kind of spread the wealth around, I don't think we'll ever see this happen again.
No, I think you're right. I think it would take, the stars would have to align. Lambs is brilliant. It's beautiful. I look at my letterbox, the only 10 I have from this year as well. Barton Fink, I love, of course. New Jack City, I love, from 1991. I love My Own Private Idaho. I love Cape Fear. This is the best. This is the best movie.
It's the only 10 I have of this bunch from the entire year. It's Silence of the Lambs and it's Terminator 2. Like, those are the only two 10s. T2
I have is an 8. Okay, yeah, I feel you on that.
You got to crunch those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Oh, God, I love that. Lambs is the best, man. It's the best movie. I've heard people say this and that, whatever they want to, they have their issues with it. I find Lambs to be one of the most rewatchable genre films that I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
Where it's uber dark, but you can't get enough, and you keep coming back, and that's because it's a good movie, really, really good movie that just kind of makes you feel like you just know you're in a good movie. And I love that it kind of got cemented, not just in culture, but also with the Academy culture, not just the people's culture, but the Academy culture as well. I love that it got all these wins. And Bugsy got the most nominations at this show, but Silence of the Lambs obviously is the one that we remember.
Really? I wouldn't. Bugsy got
I wouldn't have 10 nominations.
Damn. That's
perfect. Well, they were just throwing them out left and right. Yeah. I with all that being said, Silence of the Lambs is the best movie. I do think if I had a vote, I love that Demi won, and I love the Lambs was cemented. I think Singleton is the guy that you would look at, and the other guys of this group is. This vision is so hard to look past, and so hard to kind of look at as a loser. BOYZ N THE HOOD, you're like, how did that, whoever made that, how did that guy lose? Like, because Silence of the Lambs. I think it's a really tight race between them two. And then I think Oliver Stone is right behind them. This is fascinating stuff, though. I'm really glad we got to do this, kind of see these movies, and of course compare them to Silence of the Lambs, which is a movie we both have been close to for a long time. And that's always fun. That's always special.
Damn straight. If by some miracle, some crazy moment, Demi did not get nominated, then to me, this Oscar goes to Oliver Stone. Straight up.
Okay, yeah, and I say Singleton. I like that, though. Stone's definitely third for me out of this group.
Well, I think BOYZ N THE HOOD and JFK both do things that we love about film personally. BOYZ N THE HOOD for you, JFK for me. So, yeah, I figured we both go there.
Makes sense. And Silence of the Lambs is the one that just goes right in between. Yeah. Yep. One more thing before we get to our stuff about Boys in the Hood, our awards. There's one thing that's a crime. There's a total crime from 1991. My man John Goodman's not here for Best Supporting Actor, and Barton Fink. What were they watching?
Well, clearly nobody showed the Oscars The Light of the Mind. And
yeah, clearly. Charlie Meadows, one of the best Coen brothers characters ever. He's this fucking brute. And you got Michael Lerner here.
Yeah.
Come on. What are you doing? You clearly didn't watch the whole movie. You watched a clip, like you said. Yeah.
That Best Supporting Actor bunch is the weakest shit. Jack Palance, are you kidding me? Did you fucking see City Slickers? That movie's garbage, and Palance is in it for maybe 5 minutes, and he is nothing special. That is a career Oscar for someone who frankly did not deserve one. So I don't know why that's happening. Oldman should have been there for JFK. Goodman should have been there for Barton Fink. Like, the fuck? This is, I'm at a loss. It happens sometimes where the Oscars just, they drop the ball, and this is a major ball drop to me. Yeah,
agreed. The supporting actor group, that happens sometimes when you look back and you realize, whoa, they got it all wrong. But with that being said, it's always an interesting group of people.
That's true.
The weird variety you get. And then I love this year. I love looking at the two performances that I think are kind of above all in the Best Actor group is Hopkins as, of course, Hannibal Lecter, and Robert De Niro as Max Cady in Cape Fear. Woof, talk about evil.
Yeah.
And De Niro's a guy who, of course, has all the praise in the world. Where is this performance for you within his best stuff? To me, it's like top 3 or 4.
De Niro, Cape Fear. That there was a point where De Niro was churning out nothing but incredible work, and then at some point, he just kind of, became, comedy's grandpa and just kept doing that. I would put Cape Fear up. Yeah, I know. I'd put Cape Fear up there with some of his best. It's a scary good performance, and I've yet to see the Robert Mitchum one. I really want to. But Same. This film, for a remake, Scorsese, De Niro, Juliette Lewis, Nick Nolte, it's a great movie.
Yeah, I really, really like it. Nick Nolte, talk about him. He's in Prince of Tides, the Barbra Streisand movie. I have not seen that one. Streisand, she's a director. Her stuff I have not really gotten to get into, but I will one day. It's always kind of getting cycled through Criterion and the Criterion channel, so I'll check it out one day.
I've seen Hello Dolly. That's kind of as close as I've got to Barbra Streisand.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Is there anything else you want to kind of point out here at this 64th Academy Awards, or do you want to move on to our awards?
We didn't really talk all that much about the Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress. I mean, is there anything you'd like to kind of bring up on that front?
Always, of course, we can talk about these ladies. Oh man, looking at this group, the best actress: Susan Sarandon, Bette Midler, Laura Dern, Gina Davis, and Jodie Foster. That's a cool group. I haven't seen Rambling Rose. I believe that's the one where she's alongside Robert Duvall. I think it's about the Great Depression, sometime in that era. I have not seen that one, and I have not seen For the Boys. But those are both actresses I'm down to kind of see their work.
Yeah, same boat. Haven't seen those two films, but the other 3 nominations, very well done. And yeah, I don't think anyone was taking this away from Jodie Foster.
Who do you like better, Thelma or Louise?
Performance-wise, I gotta go Thelma, just because I've seen Gina Davis's range, and it's cool that she can do, this as well. Kind of play half dim-witted housewife, half badass, like, convenience store thief. So yeah, I gotta go Gina Davis. I've always been a fan of hers.
I'm Team Louise all day. Susan Sarandon, the woman who pulls the trigger initially. Yeah. They're both great though. I love that they're both up for best lead actress. Really cool. Kind of how I feel. That's how I feel about Judas and the Black Messiah. I think that's how they should have gone.
Yeah.
Was put Lakeith and Kaluuya both in best actor, not best supporting. I feel like the same way about Thelma and Louise. Well, this supporting actress group, I'll be honest, this is one of the strangest groups I think I've looked at. You got Jessica Tandy for Fried Green Tomatoes. Haven't seen that. I've seen that once, but it's been a long time. Kate Nelligan for the Prince of Tides. Juliette Lewis, who we brought up a minute ago for Cape Fear. Diane Ladd for Rambling Rose, alongside Laura Dern. And then the winner, Mercedes Rule for The Fisher King. This is just a random collection of people, of performers, and that always piques my interest. Rambling Rose really kind of has me thinking. Diane Ladd, Laura Dern, Robert Duvall. Who's this directed by? Let's see.
Rambling Rose.
Martha Coolidge. Yeah, I'm in on that. That's one I think I'm just gonna kind of watch in my own time. It's just kind of standing out to me.
Cool. Mercedes Rule. I remember seeing her in a few episodes of Frasier and thinking like, oh, I like this actress. What else has she been in? And then I'm like, she won a fucking Oscar?
Yeah.
What's she doing here on Frasier? I guess she was one of those, another Cuba situation where she just, won the Oscar and never really blasted off.
Yeah, I guess Mercedes would be kind of in the Marissa Tomei island. Just like these random people that, you have an Oscar?
Yeah.
I love it.
Odd.
I love it. The awesome performance in that movie. And you got to think that Terry Gilliam was particular about who was going to play this role, and they found the right person.
Yes, indeed.
Hell yeah. What of these do you want to see the most? Of course, Prince of Tides is probably high on your list because it's a best picture nominee.
Yeah, that's pretty much, Prince of Tides.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I love this stuff. What won best foreign? Oh, we got Gabriel Salvatores for Mediterranean. I want to see that at some point. I'm sure I'll find it. I love looking at these. I could just make list of movies I want to watch just by looking at Academy Award categories.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, do you wanna go ahead and give our own shit out?
Let's do this.
All right, man. Of course, we have the Tarantino Award for best line or quote. We got the Ennio Morricone Award for best music moment. We have the Philip Seymour Hoffman for best performance of the movie, and then we have the Roger Deakins for the best moment or scene. This is all about Boys in the Hood here. I'm excited to hear what kind of stuck out to you. A movie that obviously we've been hit by along with other films, but this is clearly one that stood out to both of us amongst this week of watching. I do want to say, I think it coming out operating on about a $7 million budget, and it made almost $60 million at the box office. Just you kind of love to see that when that happens, when a movie just sticks to its guns, spins just a little bit, but gains so much, right? Gains so much by giving this story to people, and here we are being able to talk about an Oscar Sunday. So, what's your Tarantino?
So I have 3.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, it's the screen. It should have won screenplay. So yeah.
One was one you'd already brought up earlier. Any fool with a dick can make a baby, but only a real man can raise his children.
See, I was trying not to, but it's also good.
It's a great line. And it immediately made me think of you.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
good job.
good job. Oh, that's fantastic.
The other one, like they both 2 came from Lawrence Fishburne, and the other one was after Furious takes out the would-be burglar, and the cops show up an hour later, and he's pissed. He's very visibly pissed about this. And the one black cop keeps coming back like super prick. Looks at Larry Fish and goes, "Is there something wrong?" He goes, "Something wrong? Yeah. It's just too bad you don't know what it is." Like, fuck yeah. Oh, I love that.
So good. That scene is crazy. Whenever Trey, this is in 1984 at the beginning of the film when Trey goes to live with his dad.
Yeah.
And he has that encounter with like the robber. That shit is crazy from Fish, that whole scene in that cop. And then he gets brought up again later when Trey's older. So yeah, good stuff. Oh.
And my third is very simple because I just fucking loved it. And it's Ice Cube's introduction. You just hear him go, "Domino, motherfucker."
Yes.
My dad taught me how to play dominoes, how to slap bones. And that's, hearing Ice Cube say that like as his introduction, I was like, I'm gonna like this movie.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, that's definitely Doughboy. You see him as, he's the chunky kid wearing a Michael Jackson t-shirt and a Raiders hat. And then, yeah, you see him in 1991, 7 years later. And that is, that whole bit is kind of genius. And now people just kind of say, right? You kind of have to say it like Ice Cube. It's a total tagline for the movie. I love it. So cool. That I kind of knew you. Usually when the screenplay is really strong, and you usually pick more than one.
Usually, yeah, that has happened a lot.
I love it. I love it so much. My Tarantino goes to a little paragraph here from Furious. He says he's speaking to a gentleman who's kind of blaming the people that are living in the Crenshaw area. He's kind of blaming them, these young guys who live there, rather than kind of thinking about what's really happening. And Furious is just dropping knowledge, all kinds of stuff, saying all these amazing things that are just, this one stuck out to me, just as again, I can't believe a guy wrote this down. And Furious is responding to this guy, well, how you think the crack rocks get into this country? We don't own any planes. We don't own any ships. We are not the people who are flying and floating that shit in here. There's great power when a movie can just use a paragraph to make you think. And I vividly remember when I first watched this movie that scene, I was just, who is this guy? Who is this guy who's speaking? I want to know who wrote about this guy, who wrote this character. I want to know who influenced this character, right? It's one of those kind of moments and one of those lines where you just want to learn more about every little thing within that scene and within that quote. And Furious is going to come back up, I'm sure, in other parts of this.
That's great. Yeah, I almost had that scene for my Deacons Award, but I ended up changing it.
Same. Yeah, I also had that written down. I guess you could call it. It's Ricky, Morris Chestnut, and Cuba Gooding Jr., Ricky and Trey, and there's these people just kind of hanging around, and he's talking about the billboard. What's the billboard? Talking to them about gentrification, and it's just it's one of the scenes in the movie where this is why you need to watch this. People should just hear this properly spoken, by this awesome actor and this awesome character.
Yeah, 100%. I like when earlier in the movie or sometime after, Doughboy tells Trey, like, your dad's like fucking Malcolm Farrakhan.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, he's a guy who has been paying attention his whole life and understands the way the world works and is trying his best to relay that information to his son so he can succeed. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and he fought in the war, and he speaks a lot about how the army is not for a black man and all this stuff. And he's just fascinating. A guy I would listen to forever.
Yeah, we saw Larry Fish on that riverboat in Nam. We knew he was there.
Yeah. Oh, we knew. We knew. Marlon Brando knew too. Yeah. So good. this might be the toughest award here, the Ennio Morricone.
Yeah.
The soundtrack here is pretty incredible. What stuck out to you?
I had a couple things. I kept changing it, and then the end credits rolled around, and Ice Cube's "How to Survive in South Central" started playing, and I'm like, yeah, fuck, of course. So it's the end credits, Ice Cube's song he did for the movie.
Beautiful. Yeah, you kind of get jazzed up, right? You're just like, oh shit, and then you want to go listen to more Ice Cube.
Cube brings this like angry energy to every single one of his songs, where you're like, why aren't you more as pissed off as I am, kind of thing. And it's like, it's power. It's great.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Definitely something I thought about, and probably something I would have chosen. And then, you know, of course, when you rewatch movies, right, you learn new things about it, what you love about it. And I'll bring up Furious again. There's a scene when he's riding with Trey, young Trey, in the car, and Ooh Child by the five stair steps comes on, and he's like, "Oh, I love this song," you know, and starts kind of humming along to it. Oh man, and then you see some shit, right? And then you see that Doughboy and Chris are getting in trouble for shoplifting, and then the movie goes to 7 years later. So it's this kind of moment in the movie where this song is kind of a warning, but it's also comforting at the same time. And I love when needle drops are used that way.
Yeah,
and I think it's just kind of a masterful touch. But you can't really go wrong with this with this soundtrack. It really is super strong. Every choice was perfect.
I agree. I'm glad you picked Ooh Child, because I wanted to bring that up, but I couldn't pick it as my Morricone because that song has been completely ruined by Guardians of the Galaxy for me.
Yeah.
Star-Lord's dance off distraction song at the end of Guardians. So
yeah,
I can't listen to that song anymore without picturing a letting loose Chris Pratt. So
yeah, that's unfortunate because it definitely belongs to Larry Fishy. Man, that soundtrack. Well, what else did you just kind of like, oh shit, this is cool, just to kind of hear in this movie? Because I mean, fucking Tevin Campbell has a song in this soundtrack, so it's crazy.
Well, apart from the soundtrack, I was very surprised at the moments that the score was used. What I had written down prior to the Cube song was the bit of saxophone that's playing right before Rick is shot.
Oof.
Because it was so haunting, and it made you feel like somebody's about to die, like something bad is about to happen. You just feel it. It's like, the calm before the storm, and then it just drops and he gets blown away.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. But then Ice Cube's, he's going to supersede that.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that's Stanley Clarke who did the score. Clearly, a lot of talent there, and I love when a film can intertwine both of those things.
Oh yeah,
score and soundtrack, and it's definitely one that you just look it up on Spotify. It's right there. Awesome. There's awesome playlists that people have made for this movie, and I listen to it all the time. The Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes,
I think you know where I'm going, but where are you at on this one?
I had 4 or 5 different names throughout this whole movie, and I had to really make a decision here, and I did not expect it to be this guy, but it did end up being Cuba Gooding Jr.
As Trey Styles, yes.
His performance was unreal. His moments of grief, his moments of anger, and his moments of just trying to, live his day to day in this crazy world. I believed it. I was very impressed with his performance. And I wonder, like, where did this Cuba Gooding Jr. go? Like, this is not the same guy who did Boat Trip. Like, what the fuck happened to this guy? And yeah, I think it's one of the worst, upsets in film that Cuba Gooding Jr. started doing shitty comedies and didn't do more drama, because he is so good.
Yeah, great pick. There are a few people here who you haven't. There's an argument to make for them winning this, and Cuba, I think, is asked to do the most, probably.
Yeah.
And like you said, his moments of grief, and even when he's smiling, and when that cop visits him and puts the gun like right to his like right on it like his throat, and the just like kind of couple tears roll by.
Yeah.
Just great stuff from Cuba.
Trying to stay strong in the moment, trying not to show weakness, but his humanity pushing itself out through those tears. Like
Crazy.
Perfect. Like you believed it. You believed the fear and the rage and the just, not wanting to break, because that's what this guy wants. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I love it. I think Ice Cube's amazing in it. I would have no problem. I think Doughboy is a fucking fascinating character. I think Larry Fish should have won this Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. I think it's kind of silly that he wasn't nominated. He definitely gets my Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Nice.
This is to me a guy who embodies what I love about a kind of a father figure character, performance, whatever you want to call it, all these things. He just kind of nails it. Just what he does with those two kind of magnet balls that he plays with.
Yeah.
That touch, and when he says, "Give me the motherfucking gun, Trey," and then when they're fishing and he's talking to him, and every little part that Fishburne pops up in, I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of this guy. It's truly one of the best performances that I've seen. Yeah. One of my favorites, and I can't believe he wasn't nominated. I can't believe it. I can't believe he didn't win. It's just kind of crazy to me. And in Cuba not being there for Best Actor is just beyond me. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. I think Morris Chestnut is even pretty fucking amazing, and there's a career that I also wish similar to Cuba that he would have taken, and it just didn't happen for him. But I love this cast, and Lawrence Fishburne is kind of the guy that to me is kind of at the head of it. The philosophy of the movie, the kind of big ideas, they all come from him, and the influence he has on Trey it makes me cry. It's a beautiful film, and he's a huge part of it.
That Best Supporting Actor group, it should have been Lawrence Fishburne for the win, Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Oldman from JFK, John Goodman from Barton Fink, and Ted Levine from Silence of the Lambs. That should have been the group.
Straight up. There you go. Fixed. There's that fixed. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I love the work here. I've heard plenty of people kind of go on similar rants that I do. Furious has to be there. Just one of the best 90s characters. And you gotta love that he plays Furious and Morpheus within the same 8 years. You gotta love it.
Hell yeah. Guys, he became a mentor. Became his niche.
Yeah, so good. Where are you at on the Deacons? This is tough. Best scene of the movie, best moment of the movie. What do you got?
For me, it was for the longest time the gentrification speech. I thought that was really well done, and it's like everyone kind of surrounded him and was like, just kind of listening to him talk. I thought that was funny. But then Ricky got shot, and the aftermath of that is some of the most realistic, haunting performances I've ever seen from everyone involved in that scene of them bringing Ricky's body home, and then just his girlfriend and his mom freaking out. His mom just going ape shit on Doughboy. Like, what did you do? And he's just like, I didn't do anything. Like him. Like that whole bit was so perfect and so sad and visceral. And I couldn't ignore it. It's something I'm going to think about. I can tell. And just the revelations and the reaction of that scene and everything it led to was just as, a catalyst. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so when you have Doughboy, who's in the crypts, right, in this movie, and these guys keep driving around in a red car, and then you have Trey and Ricky in this situation where they're like, fuck. And it's so so tough to swallow each time because the mother asks Ricky, which, by the way, Miss Baker, Tyra Farrell, awesome performance in this movie. From the like light stuff with Ricky to just the talking shit to Doughboy to this reaction she has.
Yeah,
man, when Ricky is sent to go get stuff from the store, and he goes outside and he's like, "Hey, Darren, Doughboy, like, you got to go do this." And it's like, "Motherfucker, mom told you to go do it." And he's the one who goes instead of Doughboy. Obviously they wanted to kill Doughboy, right? They want to kill Doughboy and Chris and their buddies at Dookie. But Ricky and Trey are part of, they're always hanging out with them. And that all of that kind of coming around is very tough to swallow each time.
Well, and those guys did recognize Ricky as the one who started some shit.
Yeah.
The previous night. So they were after Ricky. It had nothing to do with Doughboy, really. Like they wanted him dead for obvious reasons, but they wanted Ricky dead specifically because of that night.
Yeah, when he bumped into him. And then way earlier, you have they pull over to Trey and just put the gun right into his face. And so they just don't like these guys, You hang out with people who are a part of the Crips, well, fuck you, like that was it. It's very tough stuff to swallow. And the couch, just that couch and Morris Chestnut, Ricky's body, just there with blood all over, just like lifeless.
Yeah,
is a haunting moment, and obviously the one that just kind of delivers the punch of reality to this movie.
Well, and there's something in Cube's performance going forward that's just so much pain and regret in his eyes. You can feel it the way he holds himself. That like the last thing he said to his brother was like, he kicked his ass and like called him an asshole. And he's never going to forget that. And the way he carries himself for the rest of the movie, you just feel this pain that I did not know Ice Cube had that in him. I was very impressed.
Oh yeah, no, that last bit where he's talking to Trey just about what the fuck is the point of all this, He's like, someone's probably going to smoke me, And sure enough, that's what the credits say. And it's just a brutal ending, Crazy stuff. Yeah, I think that moment, the gentrification scene, right, where Furious is speaking to all these people, I think towards the beginning of the film, I think that kind of dialogue between Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne, between the mother and father, is fascinating. Where they're talking about, you take care of my boy, like he's like, it's my boy too, Yeah. Those moments are really cool. But my Deacons goes to a moment in the movie that I haven't given enough credit until now, and it's just it's the barbecue. The barbecue at Ricky's house. That's when you see 7 years later and you see Ice Cube, Domino motherfucker. And that's when we're introduced to Nia Long and Regina King in one of the best ways ever. And Shalika, Regina King, she says at one point, "How do you know God's a he?" Yeah. Awesome stuff. You're seeing all these different people popping up. And normally you're just, oh, look, this is fun. This is one of the hardest things to do in movie making, to make this big area look right, look realistic with all these different moving pieces happening. And you also forget the formula part of the movie, where it has this skip of 7 years, where you go from age 11 to age 18. It is not easy to do and not easy to pull off as easily as BOYZ N THE HOOD does it.
Yeah.
You don't even fucking blink. You're like, okay. And that's because that barbecue scene is so goddamn good. Everybody is on point. Everybody's just having fun with the script, And I feel totally at home when that scene is happening. I think it's a sure sign that you're about to watch something amazing. You already saw these kind of thought-provoking moments where these, Doughboy and Trey as kids, and Ricky as kids, they have these kind of crazy moments where they find the dead body and they're throwing the football around. Those kids steal it, all that stuff. You're kind of like, oh, damn. But then the barbecue scene happens and you're just, holy shit, I'm watching a really good movie. And for that, I give it the Deacons. I think it's my kind of favorite personal moment of the film. My favorite time to be in BOYZ N the Hood is when it's at the barbecue.
Yeah, of course. It's a very, positive scene, considering like most of this, everything kind of going after that's fairly negative.
Mm-hmm.
It very much is like a Last Supper kind of vibe to it. Like everyone here is never going to be this happy again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Good choice.
Oh, you can't go wrong. This whole movie is awesome. I love it so much. I'm really glad we got to do it for episode 49. Really special. We've been just kind of doing some awesome movies lately. And, I remember I wanted to do a specific movie for 49 and then I kind of changed. I just felt like leading into 50, we should do something really, really special. And BOYZ N the Hood is a special one. I'm really glad you got to check it out with these kind of intentions to give it awards and really pay attention. I'm glad you're on board with me here.
Yeah, of course. I'm very much a follower on this podcast. I trust your judgment. I go where you feel it's best to go. And you have not yet you've mostly steered us pretty good.
Well, yeah, mostly. Do you care to follow me into the Shire next weekend?
Oh, shit, son.
Yeah, episode 50. We are doing something real special. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King won Best Picture, right?
Yeah.
Amongst those 2003 movies. Instead of doing a Best Picture showdown with the other 2003 movies, I would rather just talk about all three Lord of the Rings. We typically do a Best Picture showdown on every 5th episode. Instead, we're literally just going to talk about Lord of the Rings. We're going to give awards out to all 3 movies. So that'll kind of be the episode. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you're going to have a blast. If not, stay away because it's going to be that's where we're going next week. 50 is dedicated to the franchise that connects us both. There's franchises that we both like, that we both connect with, but there's not one that we both connect with more than Lord of the Rings. In our eyes, a perfect trilogy. And we don't count the other ones. So I can't wait. I know you're excited for that. And you got to see them in theaters, correct?
I did. Alamo Draft House in Texas was doing a special screening of all 3 films, followed by Q&A sessions with Stephen Colbert and selected cast members from each film. And it was an incredible experience getting to see those on the big screen. I never have before. It happened right before we scheduled this episode, which was fucking bananas. And I got to, be a part of that. And it was amazing. And I've been looking forward to doing this on this show ever since we started this podcast. And I'm so psyched. Lord of the Rings is comfort food to me. It's a magical place. It's some of the most incredible storytelling and filmmaking in history. And I'm so excited to just dig in.
Yes, that's exactly what we'll be doing next week on episode 50. What do we have? What do we got going on this week with sneak preview and Filmgazm?
Tomorrow's sneak preview will be covering the new Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham action thriller, Wrath of Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wednesday's Filmgazm, we'll be talking about Saw 2, continuing our journey into that franchise, and Spiral is right around the corner.
Beautiful.
Sure to be a blast. And there will not be a Giggle Guys this upcoming Friday. Giggle Guys are taking a week off for personal reasons, but they will be back the following Friday to make you laugh.
Hell yeah.
Oh, this was fun. 49 in the bag, 50 on the horizon.
50 special one, Lord of the Rings. Definitely come on back with us, because we're going to be laughing and hollering and having a good time.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't miss next week, and keep watching movies.